Something big is brewing behind the scenes at Newcastle United. And no, we're not talking about a routine signing or another throwaway rumor that vanishes like smoke. What's now being shared by trusted sources in the English sports media could shake up the team's foundations and reignite fans' hopes for an even more competitive season. You know, that type of player who elevates the entire squad's level. Well, he might be closer to St. James Park than most people think, and that's not all. Strategic moves within the club point to a much more aggressive and ambitious transfer window, and most importantly, one focused on players who truly fit Eddie Howe's playing style. Amidst all this, a potential battle between Premier League giants is emerging, with Newcastle not just watching from the sidelines but acting behind the curtain to land a knockout blow on their direct rivals. And of course, if you're a Magpies fan, you'll want to catch every detail. Speaking of that, now's the perfect time to hit that subscribe button. This channel always brings you the hottest and most reliable updates on Newcastle United, with deep dives, exclusive insights, and the latest straight from the UK's top media outlets. Every new subscriber helps the channel grow and keeps this fan-driven content coming, and from one supporter to another. That makes all the difference. But back to the story. Remember those transfers that once seemed impossible, until out of nowhere the club dropped a bombshell announcement? That feeling is in the air again. Outlets like Team Talk, Manchester World, and the Ringer FC podcast have all been hinting at something major. And with each new detail that surfaces, the story gets even more intriguing. There are big names involved, rivalries in play, and one particular monster who might be heading up north. Now it's time for the reveal everyone's been waiting for. The hottest speculation right now centers around two names, Marcus Rashford and Liam Delap. What once sounded like pub chatter is now gaining real traction, especially after strong comments from icons like Ian Wright and decisive moves by Newcastle's board. Wright, speaking on Ringer FC, said outright that Rashford at Newcastle would be dangerous in a good way, a player who could ignite the attack and bring rare versatility. And while Aston Villa may have the edge in negotiations, Newcastle appear ready to jump in and flip the script. What's interesting is that even though the left wing already has Anthony Gordon and Harvey Barnes, the idea of signing Rashford hasn't been dismissed. Quite the opposite. It's seen as a strategic move. The key debate is around the impact his name alone could have, not just on the pitch, but on the entire squad's morale. Let's not forget, Rashford is 27 and has recently regained some of his form at Aston Villa. And even with a £40 million buy clause in place, there are whispers that Manchester United may consider other offers, especially if they fail to qualify for European competitions. And since we're talking bold moves, Newcastle also have their eyes on another rising talent who's caught the attention of several giants. We're talking about Liam Delap, the Ipswich Town striker. At just 21 years old, he's viewed as one of English football's brightest prospects. According to Team Talk, Newcastle have already begun talks with his representatives, with the first meetings described as very positive. That's right, the Magpies are going after a player who's also high on Manchester United's wish list, and this battle is heating up fast. With Callum Wilson's contract set to expire this summer and other clubs circling around Alexander Isak, Newcastle have space to reimagine their attack. That's where Delap comes in. The youngster has scored 12 goals and provided 2 assists in the current Premier League season, and he's doing that at a less prominent club. Alan Shearer, the greatest icon in Newcastle's history, has already praised him for his aggression and tactical intelligence. When someone like Shearer says the lad has a goal-scorer's instinct, it's time to pay attention. There's also an important detail. Delap's £40 million release clause could drop to £30 million depending on Ipswich's final league position this season. That's a golden opportunity for Newcastle to move early and pull off a transfer hijack right under Manchester's nose. These are the kind of smart, behind-the-scenes plays that define clubs with long-term vision. And with Eddie Howe steering the ship, the pieces are starting to fall into place with surgical precision. If you're enjoying this deep dive into Newcastle's transfer strategy, now's the perfect time to support the channel. Subscribe now, because this is the place to follow every twist and turn with full, unbiased analysis. Don't miss your chance to be in the know before anyone else. Chelsea's possible involvement has also entered the radar. Coach Enzo Maresca recently spoke about Delap, pointing out that he's already a good player and could become one of the greats. And when rival managers start praising a player publicly, it's often a sign that the market is heating up. Ipswich goalkeeper Alex Palmer was even more direct, calling Delap a monster, highlighting his energy, talent, and physical presence. Newcastle now face 2 unique opportunities this summer. On one side, Rashford looking to rediscover his best football away from the pressures of Old Trafford. On the other, a young striker ready to explode, perfectly fitting both the Premier League's DNA and Newcastle's sporting project. They're 2 different targets, but they reflect the same mindset: dare to grow. Newcastle's rebuild isn't just about money, it's about strategy, market reading, and bold ambition. It's worth noting that both the Rashford and Delap updates come from credible outlets like Team Talk, Manchester World, and Ringer FC podcast. This isn't tabloid gossip, these are reports backed by real behind-the-scenes information, statements from involved parties, and genuine club activity. that only adds more weight to what's being quietly built behind the scenes at St. James Park. And of course, the fans play a vital role in all of this. Showing support, believing in the project, and staying engaged with every update is what turns a rumour into fuel for a club with sky-high dreams. And let's be honest, when Newcastle supporters get involved, the passion takes over the stadium, the social media buzz, and the future of the team. So once again, subscribe to the channel and join us on this journey, because the best is yet to come. And to wrap things up, here's the heads up. The transfer market is about to explode, and the coming days should bring even more updates on both fronts. Rashford and Delap are in the spotlight, but they're not the only ones. Eddie Howe and the board have a bigger plan, and everything suggests that Newcastle are ready to surprise. So turn on the notification bell, follow the next videos, and keep your eyes on the channel, because if there's breaking news about the Magpies, you'll hear it here first.